Welcome back to 5 Acres Honey Farm. I'm Tara Lynn. I have so many updates to share before we take a look in the hives. I extracted honey from my Pittsburgh hives, which is where I am now. And in this part of North Carolina, our nectar flow ended in May and a little bit into June. And I extracted and then sold out. Truly, before I finished bottling, I realized that the number of requests that were coming in did not meet what I had left to bottle. So not only did I sell out before I finished bottling, but I sold out in 12 hours. So if you are on my honey news list and you received that update and you ordered, thank you. And if you'd like to get updates about when honey is available next, I'm leaving that in the description. If you are new to this channel, I practice many different natural beekeeping methods, and part of that is making sure that the colonies have as many reserves of real honey as possible. So I don't supplemental feed unless absolutely necessary, and when I do, I make a bee tea, and I have a separate video about that I will link also in the description. So I only take about a third of each hive's honey if they look strong enough where they can part with that, and it's usually a third or less. And there's a little bit of uncertainty every year about what perhaps the bees will bring in, but also this year the bees were really focused on building new wax because I remove about 20% of the wax each year. And that's a really heavy resource drain, so they were using the honey to create new comb, and so I was making sure they were doing using all those resources for themselves, and not knowing if I was going to see much, but they produced so much honey. So between 4 colonies, I have 8 here in Pittsburgh right now. At the time I had 6. That's another story. And so I extracted from 4 of those colonies, and I got about 6 gallons. And if you think about timesing that by 3, that's how much more is left on the colonies. Plus there's honey in the other colonies that I did not extract from. So on that note of the number of colonies, right now I have 11 total. So I have 3 in my mountain apiary, and I have 8 here. And if you follow me on Instagram, I've been offering for sale one of the colonies here. It's with a queen who is just about a month old, and has a great brood pattern. And I am only selling because I can't manage all of these colonies on my own. It's a lot of work, and it is really hard for me to part with. But if you are interested in some pricing on that, I'm happy to sell her as a 5-frame nuke, or as a 10-frame medium, or with 20 frames, just for ease of transport and for whatever you prefer. I'll include some contact information in the description, and just shoot me a message and I'll share the pricing with you. The other thing I've been up to is I created my first on-demand online class, and it's focused on health from the hive, and this one is dedicated specifically to how hive products, not only honey, but pollen and propolis and beeswax, how they can support women's health at all different stages of our lives. So I'll link to that in the description as well. If you have been following my blog, I've been releasing some news with each post leading up to the launch of that class. So one of the other pieces of news is that I'm launching a seasonal bakery, and that's going to start this fall and winter. So it'll be primarily focused on bread, and any of the products that'll be sweetened will be sweetened with honey from my hives. And at the same time, I am experimenting actually in the coming days. I've been experimenting with growing grains, and I have a post about growing a grain garden and milling my own grains. So I have enough grain right now to mill and bake my own bread. So I'm going to be experimenting with that to see how those products come out and what kind of proportions I could be using. And then right now I'm traffic going by. So right now at this time of the year, I'm going to be succession sowing some of those grains. and I will link to that post so you can see all the different types that I'm growing right now, so that I could potentially have some more that could be versatile enough to use in my little micro bakery. The current state of the hives, we're about to go out and take a peek at them. I have in all of my hives here in Pittsburgh, they all have Apiguard in them. The day after I extracted, I put the Apiguard in, and that remained in for 2 weeks, and I just added the next trays in, so those will stay in for 2 weeks. And while those are in there, I'm trying not to disrupt them too much. With my mountain hives, which I'll show you because I took a clip while I was just out there, I'll show you how that apiary is looking and what I'm planning to do with it. And in that apiary right now, I have no mite treatments because I still haven't extracted from there, and 2 of the 3 colonies look like they'll have a good honey harvest. So it'll be a few weeks before I bring the extractor out there and see what they've produced. But as soon as those honey supers are off, I already have the Apiguard out there waiting to go right on the hive, so it'll be the same cycle for mite treatments this summer for all the colonies. In the past, I've done caging of the queens through the summer to do a brood break and then do oxalic acid vaporization. That's a lot more time intensive with finding the queen, getting all of them caged at the same time so that they can be released at the same time, so that they can be treated at the same time. So with the number of colonies right now, I feel like it's just a logistical nightmare to do that, and instead I decided to kind of pay a little bit extra and use the Apiguard for right now, which is just another plug for I have a hive for sale. And so if you are local to the Pittsburgh area, that is where the hive that's for sale is located, and I primarily prefer someone pick it up. And for folks that are somewhat nearby, it's negotiable that I may be able to transport it for you, but I just need to know a little bit more details as well if you're interested. Let's go take a peek at the hives. I did something a little different this year and had folks pick up their orders, which saved me a lot of time. And it also had the benefit of allowing everyone to wave at the bees and thank them for the honey. I'm out in the mountains and I noticed a salamander hanging out in our pond and just wanted to share him. He looks so relaxed, so peaceful. I got all of my supplies together to go out to the hives in a bit, and then I saw this guy. This frame is a great example of how much comb these bees are building. So pretty much every other frame has no foundation, so they have a ton of comb to build out, and it's gorgeous. Really, really gorgeous. They're filling it as fast as they build it. I had been highly doubtful that there would be any honey out here because they are building so much comb. But would you look at how many supers are on these hives? I mean, it's just really lovely. My plan for extending this electric fence area, so this is just behind the shed, is to extend the fence here. You can see there's not much level ground. It kind of drops off really quick. And then I'll be able to have it come right here behind the shed. And this is south facing, although it doesn't really matter because of all the trees. But it will allow me to have a few more hives here if needed, but it's not my goal to keep expanding them. I kind of just want to keep a comfortable level, but at the same time I don't want to, not split a hive when I've got a great queen. But right now we've got these 3 here, and if they need to be split again, I have no more space in that area to put them. Looks like we'll have some snacks on our next visit. We're almost done. By the time these peaches were ready last year, something else ate it. Is there anything more exciting for a beekeeper to see in the summer than sourwood? Y'all aren't going to believe this, but not only is that a turtle here, but there's another turtle just a few feet up the street here. So let's see if they'll make friends. Would you look at this? He could not be walking any more directly at me. And the critters keep coming. I just saw a salamander cross the street. You know you're in the Smoky Mountains when that happens. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and check out my other videos that I've linked, and I will share more next time.